Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth release. As you can see, we have the Dino Catcher RC vehicle. This is something that I was kind of debating on grabbing for a while and then just put off, but it recently went on sale on Amazon for a little bit cheaper. I think it was around 40 bucks or something like that. So I figured it was at that point that I could take the dive and grab this one and add it to my collection. I do have the older one, which I also conveniently never even reviewed on the channel, but it is what it is. The older one I think had a Dracorex maybe in it. This time we have an Alioramus, which is pretty cool. Nice to see that figure making, another appearance here in the Mattel line. You can see the box art is pretty much what you would expect for Rebirth. Over here on the side, again, Jurassic World Rebirth. And then here on the back, just some images showing off the set and, how it all operates and all of that fun stuff. So let's go ahead, pop this box open and check it out. So here we go. Here is everything now out of the packaging, looking pretty cool. We can get a nice better shot of the vehicle itself, which I think looks great, as well as, of course, our Alioramus, which also looks pretty nice. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of bring things in here and move stuff out of the way so we can get a closer look. Now, the Alioramus sculpt is definitely the same sculpt that we usually have for the Alioramus. I don't know if they've really made much in the way of modifications, but the biggest thing that you can see as far as the dead giveaway is the head sculpt, and the fact that the head sculpt looks the same as it always has. Sculpt-wise, it looks really cool. One thing that is, of course, different about this one compared to previous Alioramus figures from Mattel is the fact that this one does not feature any articulation at all. This is a totally stagnant figure, which is definitely a little bit different as far as that goes. I think it's actually kind of fun to have something like this, and you can see the feet are kind of planted down into the ground. The ground does have a weird tone of color. It almost looks gold, which is really weird, so I guess they're capturing the Alioramus while he's mining for gold, and clearly has struck gold. Kind of rude to take him away from that, but you can see that other than that, sculpt-wise, it's got a pretty cool pose, nice detail. The paint apps are very lackluster, though. You can see no painted nails at all, which is pretty common. We can also see the eyes are painted with a yellow, but we don't have a black pupil, just a brown pupil, which is the same tone of color as the primary brown. And then you have a sort of a red-orange that moves over the top of the figure, and you can see it does actually move over the head into those little feathers in the back of the head, and then moves down along the back but disappears as you lead out into the tail, giving us a little bit extra coloration that we don't often see from Mattel as it leads out into the tail a little bit, but not much in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the coloration of the figure, but it's still pretty cool, and it's always fun to have a new Alioramus. Then the vehicle itself, you can see, looks really good. Sculpt-wise, again, it's absolutely fantastic. We've got, of course, the various tones of color that you would see on the Rebirth style vehicles. We've got the reddish tones, blackish tones. You can even see that we technically, I guess, have these areas up here given yellowish green sort of tones, kind of making it look like there's reflectors or lights. I would think they're meant to be lights, but they don't really look very lights-like. But as you move through, you can see, again, more detail over here. We can also see the InGen logo. We also have this tan tone of color that picks up. You've also got this little area where you can step up if you were getting into the vehicle, and that does have a really nice, very realistic look to it, I would say. The inside does have the seats, and the seats actually have the seat belts and everything. Obviously, they're not real, it's just something that's sculpted into the chairs, but they look really good. We also can see some additions to the center of the vehicle. Again, the other seat over there. We also have the steering wheel, and if you look over here, you can, as I hit the camera, even see the dashboard, and we can even see the InGen logo in there, which is actually really cool. I don't know if the steering wheel does turn. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can turn the steering wheel, which is really nice. We also have the wheels, which look really good. The tires themselves have a pretty high quality appearance to them. You can see the insides also look very nicely done. We've got all of the bolts and everything in there. We do also have a Jurassic logo up here on the top, although it almost makes it look like the T-Rex doesn't have teeth at all, so it's a little awkward looking. But as we continue to move back, there is a shovel as well as a hatchet right there. Again, it looks like something that you should be able to remove, because you can see it almost looks like it's just something that's been set in there, but you can't actually pull those out. You do have another step back here in the back of the vehicle. As you move up to the top of the vehicle, we do have a very cool Jurassic World logo up there as well. And then if you move to the back, you can see everything looks really nice back here as well. Very high quality. And yes, you can open the rear gate, which is pretty cool to be able to, you know, climb up in there. I guess throw your Alioramus in there if you actually can capture it. And then when you move over here to the other side, you can see there is a little bit of difference here as far as what we have sitting back here compared to what we saw on the first side. Again, I don't think that that's something that's removable at all. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it is. We do again have the InGen logo as well as the toothless T-Rex. And then you move back up to the front. As you can see, this area can pick up, so you can basically capture the Alioramus and then just sort of dump it back there, I guess, into the cage area. And this does open up so that you can capture the Alioramus. It's also spring-loaded, so it shuts very quickly and captures the dinosaur. And then the underside doesn't really have a whole lot when it comes to detail or anything, but obviously we do have, you know, the battery compartment and all of that fun stuff down there. And we actually also have the controller, but what's weird is on the control we actually have the Jurassic Park logo, and I find that so strange because first of all, this is a Rebirth set, so it should have been the Rebirth logo, but even on standard stuff from Mattel, it's almost always the Jurassic World logo. Like, it's few and far between that you actually get the Jurassic Park logo, so I find it so strange that they did actually apply the Jurassic Park logo here to the remote control. But you can see we've got some pretty cool buttons and stuff, and the controller itself also matches the color of the vehicle really nicely, which is as well pretty cool. I wish they actually had done this where there's, like, you know, alternate coloration added to the material where you can see kind of like browns and stuff, making it look dirty. That would have been a really cool touch to actually have had on the vehicle itself, because it would have made the vehicle look kind of muddy and stuff like it was being used. So that would have been cool. You could see it really nicely here on the back. But I'm going to go ahead and get some batteries in this, and we'll check out the playability. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Wow, that went flying. Okay, so it seems like it's working pretty well, but I think it's safe to say that I don't have a whole lot of room in here to drive this around. So we're going to go ahead and take it outside, and we'll try it out there. So first of all, I apologize for the loud banging and stuff when we were out there because somebody is disassembling their porch or something, I don't know, destroying stuff out there. But as you could see, it did work really well. It definitely moves very quickly and very smoothly. I have had no issues with it at all as far as the RC aspect goes. But I'm very interested to see how it's going to do when it comes to picking up this Alioramus. Now obviously, the majority of this is basically just I have to drive the vehicle into the dinosaur, and then you would have to pick it up actually by hand. Sadly, there is no button on here for the vehicle itself to actually pick the dinosaur up and toss it back there. So we're just going to drive it forward and hope we can pick up our Alioramus. So we're now going to go ahead. We have the front there opened up. We're going to drive it into the Alioramus and see if we can go ahead and grab a hold of it. And we just basically punched it right in the face and sent it flying. So I think there's a chance that maybe you're supposed to have the Alioramus facing away from you, as I went into it kind of, you know, head on. So we're going to try it this way and see if there's any difference as far as that goes. Try to get it into position. And it just kind of pushed him again. Try it once more. He is not doing well. I'm not really sure why. We'll try it once more. Oh, I think we got him. Yeah, we did. We at least caught him by the tail, so, you know, it works in a way. It's just not working too well for me, but I can see it definitely, you know, working decent with other dinosaurs, maybe something a little heavier. The Alioramus is pretty light, so once it hits it, it just pushes it forward. It can be a little tricky, it seems, to actually capture the dinosaur, but at least we did capture it on camera, so I mean, that's a plus at least, you know. It's better than not capturing it at all, even though it could probably very easily just escape at this point, but it does work. Again, the way to actually do this would be to pull these open. Once you pull these open, it sets like that. Then you have to push this down. It now sets. And then basically you have to ram into the dinosaur, and then it goes shut. So you know, it does work really nicely. I guess maybe if I was on a surface that wasn't so smooth, because I think maybe every time it hits it just slides it forward. If it wasn't so smooth, I could see this working really well. Just in my certain, you know, review station here, not working that great, but I don't think that has anything to do with the actual, you know, ability of the vehicle to work. I think it's just because it is so smooth here, it just kind of pushes them forward. As far as a size goes for the vehicle, it's pretty big. For a length from the back to all the way to the front there, roughly around 18 inches or about 45.5, heading toward 46 centimeters, but not quite there. And then for a height, around 6 inches or a little over 15 centimeters. And then for the Alioramus, you are going to see that one come in at about 6.5 inches or 16.5 centimeters. And the highest point, probably the tail, about 3.25 inches or a little over 8 centimeters. Yeah, definitely the tail. The Alioramus is pretty much in the same size range as the older Alioramus figures from Mattel, so no real surprises as far as that one goes. But let's go ahead and get a size comparison. There is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to this set, and you can see again that the vehicle is definitely quite nicely sized, but also the Alioramus is right there in that Attack Pack Danger Pack size range. We also have Claire now in the driver's seat, showing you that this vehicle is absolutely in the standard Mattel size range when it comes to the humans. You can see she fits in there very nicely, looks very natural overall. And then one final comparison. Here is a comparison with the vehicle that was in the Raptor set for Rebirth, where it had a, you know, Velociraptor attacking next to the RC vehicle as well, showing you that the RC vehicle is definitely a little bit larger than the standard Mattel vehicle, but that's just because it's longer and just generally has more mass to it, but still is in the same size range roughly as the standard Mattel Jurassic World line. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth Dino Catcher RC set is pretty cool. Again, the vehicle itself looks really nice, definitely has that, you know, Jurassic World Rebirth look and feel to it, really fits the theme of the toy line overall, and just generally looks really good. It's very highly detailed. They definitely didn't skimp out when it comes to the color or anything. I feel like they did a good job, especially when it comes to applying stickers and everything and having, like, you know, the shovel and the hatchet and everything in their own individual colors. Like, it looks good. They didn't do, you know, too bad of a job overall. Sometimes Mattel gets a little lazy when it comes to color and paintwork and stuff, but this thing I think looks pretty good, outside of the fact that the T-Rex silhouette has no teeth and does look pretty awkward as far as that goes. But the vehicle actually works really well. It has some pretty good speed that it can pick up, so that's a plus, and definitely maneuvers very nicely. The actual catcher itself works pretty well, but again, in my area, my review station, it's a little bit tricky, doesn't work too well, but I could very easily see it working very nicely, especially with a larger figure, but just generally if it was on a less smooth surface, I feel like it could work a lot better. And the Alioramus is pretty cool. It's fun to have another version of that dinosaur, even if this one is more of like a model-like version, especially if you are interested in, you know, Mattel dinosaurs without the seams, so you have more of like a standard model-like version. This is a pretty cool figure to have. The overall sculpt is, of course, nicely done, meshes nicely with the other Alioramus in the line. The paintwork is super lazy and lackluster, as per usual when it comes to stuff like this, but I guess that's not the end of the world. Either way, though, it's a really fun set, and I absolutely recommend picking it up. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it on Amazon.com. So check that link, grab it if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.